indeed. Well, you know, I did that the Rhyme Island once, where you had to like
Oh,
rhyme
everything in
stuff.
rhymes. That was
Yeah,
fun. That was fun.
it was so bad. I mean, it wasn't like the best, but like it was very hard to like
Well,
role play.
it showed how people would find a way, even if it was stupid and made no sense and it was terrible, they would find a way to rhyme.
Oh yeah,
And the more they did it, the better they got.
that was alright. I mean, it was
I
you know
enjoyed it. I thought that was a really cool world building thing of like something unique about this that I've never done before. And
nice.
I was like, this is really cool. I'm excited to do it, even though it's annoying as hell, stupid, and I hate it. I loved it as a Chris. I loved it
Nice.
as a
Well,
Lone Star. Miserable.
R.I.P. Um, so we are live. We've been live for like a minute, but
I figured.
yes, I mean, I always try to
I
get
can
you.
tell by the smirk on your face when you go live. Because
Um,
you just sit back and you're just like, when am I gonna tell them?
all right, roll high and subscribe. That's the first thing. Now,
Yes.
as we always do, we have a follower topic, and the topic today. Ooh, there's a four-way tie.
Oh,
So we're gonna have to go to the YouTube, which we post on Instagram before we go live, and I
am I
also
allowed to
posted.
vote on both of those, Instagram and YouTube?
Yeah, but then you're gonna have a tie.
Well, I'm gonna
Um,
have a.
But I think we're gonna. I think we have. I think number one is the. Let me see.
Oh.
Here we go. Posts. Hey, we have a winner.
Oh,
Should PCs be able to kill gods? That was a tough one. I was hoping it wasn't going
Ooh.
to be that one, but
well, that was the one I voted for.
did you really?
Yeah, of course.
So you're the guy. All right. So let's start this one off. So should PCs be able to kill gods? Now it's like I feel like we should analyze the question first, then
Well,
dive
what's
into
a
it.
god?
Right. And also like I don't want to end this conversation with it being it depends,
Yes.
but
Well,
it does depend.
it
you know.
depends. Well, it depends on your definition of God and how gods are in your world.
Right. So, for instance, in our game we are playing, gods don't particularly play a direct role in the world. In my world that we've created, they have their avatars, they have worshippers, and the worshipping is probably, though it's hard to role play it, but we do it quite well when we get to like civilizations that only worship things, gods or other things. The worshipping is the real power, right? So in my world that I've built with Agoth Doomhand, gods die when the followers die. So the answer to that question for me in my world is yes.
Well, or do they die or do they just lose power?
They lose. I guess they lose power. I guess they get drained to 1%. To need a recharge.
Well, like so they become a normal person. They have no extra things besides themselves.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So then they're a normal person now.
Right.
Then I think we can kill them.
Right. And then like so. But what would your answer be? So can players kill gods? Like, is there a power issue there?
I think it's a and well, it is a power issue in some level. It's like if you're god, the gods of the world that you're building,
Right.
that you're playing, are immensely more powerful than anything that your players could ever achieve. Then, like, do you want to create mechanics or mechanisms to be able to touch the sky and change it? I mean, well, I guess it depends on the kind of campaign you want to play. If you want,
It depends.
well, you're changing my mind. Talking about it, you're changing my mind.
Right.
So, well, it depends on if you want to play a game where the gods are heavily involved, then maybe yes. Then you're already interacting with them and have some weakness in the god the same you would have every NPC.
So
Then in those games, you'd be building the mechanics to allow that to happen, to facilitate that interaction and eventually that big fight.
Right.
Otherwise, you're trying to keep them separate.
So, I mean, there's a whole story element to it. It's like, what one, like, maybe the whole, not like it's like an unnecessary plot hook, but maybe, like, that is something that the players should figure out. Can they?
Yeah.
Can they kill God? But should they be able to? I feel like the answer to that question I just answered. It depends, but not like it depends, but like if the players want to.
Want to.
Right. So like usually, you know, you've set up your thing, and then one character, Chris, usually you've been doing it lately, but
not all the time.
But you know, things don't go the way that they're supposed to go. You know, but the players want to go in a direction that you're not set up for. Well, too bad. You're going to go. It's the same. Yeah. It's the same. You know, you don't want to stop gameplay and force them to do it. But like, I mean, hopefully, the players see that you've set it up and will just go. But, but you do both. So I feel like if the players want to kill a god, they should be able to. That's probably the answer. But how they do it, that's the adventure. So it's like in our world, you gotta, you know, it's not necessarily that you guys are trying to kill gods. You guys are trying to. You can do that. I would let you do that.
Here's another question before we
how
go deeper.
Do you do it?
How do you define your gods?
Right. I would say they draw their powers from beliefs. I would say that they have a set. They're all pretty strong, but they have like a set focus. Like obviously you have your forest and your green and your fire and your wind and your storm and your, you know, it's like Greek gods type thing.
So, not to cut you off, but to direct you, could any mortal in your world become a god with enough worship and follow and praise? And
I would think that you have to have some kind of yes, and there'd have to be some sort of happening.
Yeah,
you know,
like
strike
some
of
event
lightning
or something.
Yeah. But
yes,
there's
some way for any person on the world to become a god.
Yeah, and I would say that
theoretically,
like, you'd be able to become a demigod. And if you can become a demigod, you certainly could be able to become a god. So it's like, can you become... Well, how does the wizard get his powers? In certain, I would imagine, studying, you know?
Yeah.
But if you study, you know, your book...
You learn enough magic.
You learn enough about your religion, or you learn enough about your monkhood or whatever. Can you become the supreme leader? Does the supreme leader gain powers because of that? Probably. And so, yeah, I would say that eventually, at least like you would think you're one, which, you know.
Well, would you have, at that point, would you have, like, maybe not even, but some comparable, equality to other gods on some level?
That would have to be tested. I don't know.
Okay,
that's a good.
Well, I think
it's a good. You know,
for me, it's turning like if just general world building ideas, like if like one of the regular people in the world can ascend or gain power or influence or go through a special ritual or get struck by lightning and compete like skill, power, strength, wise with any of the other gods in your world, then yeah, absolutely, let it happen.
And in my world, if the belief system is the thing that gives the gods their power, or at least enhances the power that they already have. Maybe they were all chosen. Maybe you have to be chosen to be a god, and the belief system, for whatever reason, makes you more makes you more powerful. And that's the reason why this whole thing started. You know, like the Dark Lord felt his people were no longer believing in the gods and in religion, and so he sent out, you know, the goddesses of torture and darkness to go spread fear in him. So fear is belief. So that's how he gets stronger. And then, you know, you have your Agoth Doomhand character, and I was wondering, and I've always thought about this, like he's out for revenge to destroy all living beings that can think and can worship gods, just destroying them all.
Just prevent anything.
Right. And gods flow through planes and can flow through planes and can go through realities and whatnot. So he's doing it in all of them, which is why he needs this crystal skulls and all that stuff to make sure he flattens everything everywhere. Sort of like your Thanos with the...
Right.
Does he become a god? Does he become the being or the thing that he's actually trying to destroy in his mission? You know, I'm certainly going to have a place that worships him, and I'm going to force that monologue, you know?
Well, then he's going to have to kill all of them, too, for worshiping him.
Yeah, yep.
Well, and you got me thinking, random tangent alert, because I just want to throw this at you. I'm calling it now.
Random tangent.
Since Agoth Doomhand has been killing the ending the following of certain gods, has he felt the magic that created the repeater wane with any of those that decrease in power? I forget who's who, but like if say would Wizard Doomhand realize he's maybe not as powerful if that god who cursed him into that life, followers are weakened?
You are not only changing the whole story arc, but the answer to that question has to be yes. Is the way to end the repeater's curse
is to kill the followers, the gods, the power that has held him there?
Yes. So you had Shar.
I have figured out Agoth Doomhand and Skulls of Power. I have one D&D.
You can retire now. It's been 5 years.
I'm done.
Can retire.
You can have all my dice. These are for you now.
That's hilarious. Yeah, we can start your 5-year. How do you like that? And it took me a long time to figure this out too. Hey, whoever voted for that, thank you very, very much. You've really helped us come up with a conclusion that we will be getting to in like 5 years. But like at least, actually closer now, because
I don't know.
I feel like
we have a theory.
You know what's going to be really funny is that it's the goddess of torture. We don't know where she is. We hear that she's in. We hear that she might have to do with the Middle Dark. I think there were rumors about that. There are rumors that Shar, you ran into the Avatar Shar in the desert. Now, do you guys have to revisit my desert and go clean up?
I think we do.
And go clean up. You know, and it's all That's hilarious.
That was a good random tangent. I'm happy I asked.
That was huge. Anyway, to sum up that conversation, should players be able to kill gods? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so that was the first section. Thank you for everyone for
roll high and subscribe.
Roll high and subscribe. That was a very good polled question. We really that's insane. I'm pretty excited. Also, hey, Gray's where it's at. Okay, Gray's where it's at. This was not planned. But
But your background was planned.
It was.
Because you're jealous of this thing.
I know. It was good. I'll make it better. Better.
It's good. I love it.
I'm telling you,
it's like a halo over your head of evil Dungeon Master.
I'm telling you,
I'm coming for you.
That room that you're in is somewhere in one of these hallways. That's
No, it's below it.
yeah, it's below it. It's below it. All right, so you had a very interesting topic, the main topic of this evening.
Okay. Yes.
Go ahead.
Downtime. I don't know how I phrased it to you before, but how do you engage or bring downtime into your game? It's more on the pacing of play, I guess. Of the game can feel fast at times. Of you're in a span of 2 weeks, you've gone all over the whole world and seen everything and fought in 10 dragons and done all of this crazy shit. And feels like everything is going and going and going. And I know when I'm playing, there's a lot of things that come up that I was like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. Or if you're an artificer, you have your long list of things you want to build, or maybe try and do a weapon upgrade, or learn a skill, or find a teacher for something, or try and find some research in a way that it's not having to interact with that day to day and just drag out the time of like the 2 weeks in town when you're studying. Grant, like a little bit of that can be fun, but like how do you bring more of that into the game? When is a nice time to bring that into your game?
So the downtime. All right, you go out, you have your adventure hook, you come back, or you do the adventure, you slay whoever, you find the item, and you come back. Now,
well, yeah, say you're not on like a time crunch, world-ending, like we have no time to take a break. The world's gonna end in 2 weeks, and we have to do everything we can. Unlike hey, we're in this town and there's shit all around us, and we're just trying to save the town.
Yeah, or like, in Game of Thrones, Winterfell. This is the reason why I didn't like the season 8. I liked it, but like I didn't like it because it took Jaime Lannister 1.5, like 2 seasons to go from Winterfell to King's Landing, and then in season 3 or season 8, they were going like the next scene was them there. Yeah. And then they return, and they have a battle. That took like a year.
Right.
2 years. So think about that in your traveling, and maybe we should do that, incorporate some of this into our game. Like, you're traveling for a long time. Like, what happens? The characters stop getting XP? Do you become better at traveling? Do you decide that book you've picked up, you're going to really dive in deep and make some rolls for some high rolls for a feat of some kind? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like that is a good way to use downtime. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Try and give more time to do all the other things around your character that you want to incorporate into them.
Yeah.
Maybe incorporating a little green skull into them.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or like, so like your character, when we did the DM swap, your character decided to study the book that he found about the partial amnesia item, which now he's like proficient in the knowledge of that, or he's not proficient, but he knows how to do it, right?
Yeah.
You'll be proficient.
It's not just blind luck. It's he actually has a procedure to follow.
Right. So that's gonna, that would be your down. That was your downtime. But like other ways of doing downtime, traveling. Like what?
Yeah. It's like you don't want to spend the time to RP and play out and roll on 8 days of traveling in this very benign place. Like a lot of times you're gonna want to speed that up.
Yeah.
Say, all right, let's just get to the fun stuff, the important stuff. Nothing really happens. But is there that is still 8 days worth of morning time traveling, and like evening time when you're not traveling, just resting before you sleep. There's plenty of time to do stuff. And especially if it's boring on the road, you're going to be having hobbies and doing shit.
Right. And like during the downtime, like I would think, the more I think about it, it sort of relates to like one of last week's topics about things that, or one of the more recent uploads actually, things that slow the game down. So it's like traveling. You guys are going to be traveling for a year and a half, like not a year, but like let's say 2 months, you
Right.
know? And you're not going to roleplay that whole thing. You are going to have to camp a couple times. Maybe you roll how many times, whatever it is. And you make a game out of it. You roll. So your character wants to read the book and become like proficient at some sorcery. But like, you know, you're traveling, and now if it was me, I'd be like, you're traveling in the woods or out in the open, and like the wind is picking up, or it's cold, it's snowing, or there's a bird constantly chirping. Like, can you have the mental focus, Chris? You know, roll a d20. Let's see, like, for the first week, like,
absolutely.
You know, like
make the downtime a game. I like that.
Yes, you know.
Well, it is a part of the game, but make it feel like part of the game.
Yeah. And then like the traveling is just weird. It's an example, but like obviously if you're traveling for 3 months, you'd be stopping, you know.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about giving that time is it makes your world feel bigger.
Yeah.
It's like if you can get everywhere in a day or 2 days, then the world feels small.
Teeny.
But if it takes like a month by ship to get somewhere, like there is a reason why there's scarcity and there's separation of cultures and why this crazy stuff doesn't happen back on that other land.
Here it is. Traveling is to making traveling a game is to making the world bigger. What making downtime is to making the universe bigger. Are you kidding? The player bigger, the mind's eye bigger, because like, you know, immersion wise, like, yeah, your guy is gonna have some stuff. Like, does the barbarian like he's not gonna be reading a book. Like, what's he gonna be doing? Like, he's probably going to be practicing his axe skills. You know, or like, does he get, or like, or like he gave the tinker, or not the tinker, the artificer a weapon, and like he said, put these together. Like, does he have a +3? And you know,
and he helps train, like, get the weight right as the your artificer is building it.
Like,
it gives time to really build those relationships.
Right.
I know a couple DMs that I play with, they're like, yeah, you're traveling. Are there any conversations you guys want to have?
Right.
Just open it up to that time of like, do you just want to talk and like bond during this 8-day trip?
Right. And maybe like it's up to the players too. Just like one of the last topics it's up to everyone at the table. Not just the DM to like have something planned for travel. But if you're a good player, a decent player, or a smart player, maybe when you're traveling for a week, like you're like, you know, DM, I'd like to give the artificer, if the artificer will accept, these two weapons to try to join them or meld them together to create something. You know, you can let me know when it's ready so you can have time to get the notes ready. But in return, I will be spending the week when we are resting and downtime teaching him how to fight. So maybe the artificer becomes proficient at,
or like how to use that certain weapon,
or becomes more intimidating. Maybe the guy just tells him how to be more intimidating. You know, so like there's a ways to like up the game and like make it fun, and like you have to roll for it. You know, that's that downtime stuff is so cool now that you think about it. What other aspects of downtime? Because it's not just learning and benefiting, but it's also like a way for the DM, if you are to do this and set something up in advance, to help you build, to prepare. So maybe one of the next sessions we should talk about preparation. We've talked about it before, but now that we're a little bit more, here's the word, proficient at DMing, like maybe there's other things we need to focus about. But sometimes
it's not just DM preparation; it's player preparation too. The DM spent. This is something I've been thinking about. I don't know why I've been thinking about it a lot, but the DM, when you're getting ready to run a session for your friends, it's you sitting down to play a game and have fun, but there is still some work that you want to do ahead of time, just a little bit, maybe a lot. Yeah. But as a player, I'm not just showing up and expecting the DM to like entertain me for the 3 hours that we're playing together. I want to be a part of that story. So for me as a player, like finding the motivations that what does my player want to do in a day? If he could do anything in the world, what's he going to go do? Right. And like if he has a desire for a week, what route is he going to take to get there? Of like giving him motivation so you have something to do that you're ready with when that downtime does come up.
Right. Well, what example of that would that be?
Maybe you have a stockpile of gems that you've been collecting and that you've been waiting for some time to carve them into something nice, like the barbarian and weapons and tinkers. Or maybe you want to sit and really write out that nice letter to some business contact or some other person around the world, but you haven't really had time to get your calligraphy tools out, make a really nice letter, make it beautiful, and you're not going to do that in a campsite.
Right.
So you have these ideas that are ready to advance your story. If we always talk about DMs adding details of your character's backstories into the game to try and make it more immersive, as a player, it's your responsibility too. Take parts of your backstory and put it into the world.
Yeah, you could pick
up. That's what you're. Yeah.
You could pick up a rock, and you could just say, "This rock reminds me of the same rock at home." Where, and then you as a player have the full reign to talk about it. But
and if there's something that in your backstory you want the DM to focus on,
right?
In your downtime is that perfect opportunity to say, "Hey DM, when I have the time alone to do whatever I want, this is what I'm focusing my time on." It's your spotlighting and sharing that information about your player with your DM.
That's cool. Here's another idea. Everyone listen, ready? If you take your like letter idea, hey DM, it's going to take a 2-week journey to get from A to B. In the settlement, is there like a postman or post office? I'd like to send this letter. And it takes, however long to travel.
Yeah.
The DM now, and say in hopes of, and you say, and it's gonna be postmarked the place in B.
Yeah.
So now the DM is gonna be writing a letter based on your world at home to you that they're gonna have waiting for them at B. A little world building. World building for you,
It's like how I randomly ask you every single random NPC's name.
I
get to throw some more world building stuff in there and give you something to have fun with.
Yeah, but like downtime, other things that you can do with downtime. There's practicing. There's all the skills. A feat maybe you want to study. You want to read a history book.
You could even just be working a mundane job to try and earn some extra money.
Yeah.
Because adventuring is dangerous and expensive.
Yep.
Maybe you just need to sit down and earn a little money to get a better armor so you don't die.
I just read about the one group that had their players just started a business.
I've started many businesses.
It's
fun.
Like, I guess you defend it, but like at the same time, like you gotta make it pay, make it,
Well, that's why you have a really competent NPC that you get the really charismatic person to convince to run your business for you. So then you're good. Then you're just managing the business from the outside.
You have a business built in to Agoth Doomhand. Random tangent alert.
I do.
Yes, you do. I have to find it. So Lone Star had who was it that pulled the
Oh, that stag has the castle.
Stag has a castle with the village with the oh my god, I have to
I
find this.
forgot about
Sorry about. Listen, we're taking the
Deck of many things.
deck of many things. Yes,
Oh,
I sh-
random tangent alert.
I should not have said.
Downtime. How to force downtime? The deck of many things.
Yeah, how to force it. Yeah, that's true. But also, downtime is a good time to say what you want to do, end the session, come back, look at your notes, world build. You know?
It's something that I love when DMs drop on in between sessions, because it's something to keep you excited about that next session and like think about the game in that time between. Of like, you end the session, all right, you guys are heading out on your journey, or you are getting back to town, and you're gonna have 2 weeks before the next session starts, or you have a week or 3 days. What are you guys gonna do? Figure it out and let me know.
There's this one. You pulled the throne. You gain proficiency and expertise in persuasion.
Already had it.
Additionally, you become the owner of a small keep somewhere in the world. However, before you may claim the keep, you must clear it of monsters that have seized its control. That is going to be so sick. So for now on, when we go somewhere, we are going to roll for your keep, you know? Or maybe we'll just do that.
Right.
We'll do that later.
Before, for your sake and sanity, before you have me start rolling if my keep is going to be there, have the keep planned out. Because with my luck lately, as soon as you have me roll for it, it's going to be there.
We're going to roll with everyone, and we're going to put the map up, and I'll make a grid.
You're good.
And it'll be 2 rolls. So I want 2 rolls, not 1.
Okay.
And it'll be, a 1 through 20 and a 1 through 20, and then that'll be where it's at. I hope your keep isn't in the water. It could be a pixie keep.
Well, no, I don't want to know. I want it to be a surprise.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And now, in the world, maybe we just put it on land. I'll make that.
Yeah.
Probably makes more sense. It doesn't have to be in the Underdark.
It could be an underwater castle.
You were wandering the Underdark. You were in the Underdark.
Or, yeah, there is the Underdark. There is the sky castles.
Yeah.
It just says a castle in the world.
I like the ground area.
Man, the sky castle would be cool, though.
Yeah, gotta include. So yeah, back to the topic. That was a
long tangent. Downtime.
Yeah, downtime.
Downtime is a great way to bring more world building into the world. I got nothing. I'm still off on that tangent.
Mike Elmore is still off on the tangent. He says, just kill everything in every building you come across and just say, I thought this could be my keep. Don't roll for it.
I love it. That's
hilarious. That's
just
really
start
funny.
claiming everything as my keep.
This is it, right?
But it is now.
Yeah, this is it, right? That's hilarious.
To justify being a murder hobo. I love it.
All
right.
Yeah. So downtime. I feel like that's like.
Yeah. I think we've come to a good point.
Yeah.
And we've come to a point where we need to take this and implement it and see how it is and feel it out. Get some more insights on it.
Yeah.
And maybe come up with new exciting ideas or find one online that is amazing.
Yeah. Roll high and subscribe.
You beat me to it.
I know. Every time from now on. Now, there was one last one. And I wanted to, and I believe I saw where this is. I'm trying to find it. Shoot. I think I did. I think I sent it to you. Let me see.
Which one?
Oh
no.
Do
birds fly?
Super fuzz. No. World building. Let's specifically talk about. I am building a map. I am building a map of the Sky Kingdom. So essentially, just think islands with sky stuff.
Yeah.
We know that the islands below in the lower sky area were powered by crystals. Doesn't necessarily mean that these are. So that mechanic might be gone. But they could also be powered by a belief system. As we get closer to, as we get closer to whatever's up there. But I wanted to have the city have a mechanic in it that made the exploring feel like a dungeon like the game. And I keep coming back to this in Trigard because I really had fun doing it. When you guys went down the street, I tried to make it feel huge by having 2 interactions. Most of them were not like combat or anything, more so sensory, but you could do whatever, however you wanted to role play it. Interactions in the city. So like, just think like you see a guy walking 18 dogs. That's a lot. Or like, the cart falls over and the oranges fall out. That was actually one of them. And the combat encounters too. But so in doing that, we had a lot of things happen. And as you guys progressed, it was only 2 sessions, but you guys were like miles away from where you were walking in a dense city. So that was my way of making it feel like that. I wanted to make this place feel like there were consequences and more dungeon. Like I wanted to have like some sort of mechanic built into it, where if the players don't do this, something negative. Not necessarily taken in prison, and it depends on what you do. Obviously, that can always happen. But like, what do you think? Like, I don't know. Like, I wanted to have like rules to abide by, like suggested rules.
Yeah, like there could be very strict
policies.
Rules to live by. Like, you're living up here, so life is different, and it's like living out in the West where penalties were harsher for smaller things because the impacts they have are larger for the society as a whole. So, like food, thinking about what's important, what would be different about living up here, and I'll allow the rules to be like making the things that are important more strict, more important, more dangerous.
Yeah. But how would you implement that? Now, so like Adam, who just joined on Instagram, Adam had his game, and he said when we were playing it that you guys are tied up, and there are hundreds and thousands of people doing this death race. So to try to escape right now would almost certainly mean death. Like, that's one way of like forcing the
right. Well, I mean, how you did on the Sun Temple City, of like there's a gate and the person there tells you the things of there's no stealing, sign this thing to agree to this.
Right.
Like having an entryway for visitors, like your customs and immigration of like, these are the rules, make sure you read everything, here's a pamphlet, read it thoroughly, follow these detailed rules with the very dangerous consequences.
So I'm going to world build 3 regular rules and then 3 like bizarre rules, like crazy, bizarre.
Ones that seem really wild but have a very specific purpose in the city.
Yeah, like, every you don't step on what I don't know. What would it be? Every door you open with your left hand, you have to, or
you can only step with your, or every
you have
third
to
step
hop.
you have to step with that same foot.
You're only allowed
Otherwise,
to skip.
it puts the island into an oscillation that can bring it down. So you have to skip that one every third step to throw off
That's hilarious.
your waves that you're putting into the ground.
You have to sprint. Always.
Just everyone is sprinting around the city.
Jogging in place. Everyone's exhausted. Yeah.
Everyone's just jacked.
Yeah, but I feel like that would be cool. I think that's what, and I don't want to like, well, it might be fun to get like caught by the cops and have to explain yourself, That would be, and that's also world building.
I forgot that I have to scream or throw my hands up to the sky anytime I hear a bell.
Yeah. Or like, and the bells happen every
20 minutes.
Yeah. And yeah,
I had a full drink in my hand. I didn't want to spill it.
Yeah,
the laws are the laws.
And the laws are the laws, and it's like the rule. I guess the rule would be like everyone, no matter who in the room, becomes like a little worried about you, a little, or doesn't believe anything,
Yeah.
Something weird for like world building purposes and role playing, because like I like the idea of role playing. So like if you, it's very clean. If you litter, like. We were talked about this before. Maybe the rules are if you litter, like you get hung. Like if you litter on the state capitol, like you're whipped. You get whipped.
Yeah,
it's the cleanest place in the
punishment.
world. Yeah. So like it's like you throw your napkin.
If you spit on the ground.
Oh yeah. It's like you throw a napkin, it bounces off the garbage onto the ground. You walk by, they chain you up. They say bite on this. And it, here, this will help, and they just whip you. And we talked about that last time. And then like, the way you can build that encounter and make it super weird is to have the families there with their children to watch to see what happens when you litter here, so that culture builds up in the minds of not just the weird NPCs, but in your world. Like other like rules like that would be weird to implement too. That's like. And I'm just trying to think like funny ones, but also.
So the challenge, I think, with a lot of those is like what we started talking about. Do you explicitly tell everyone the rules, or do you let them find them out?
Right.
I think it has to be, if like, for me as a player, if the punishments aren't like super dangerous, I'm okay with finding out on the fly. Not like, oh, I accidentally opened the door with my right hand instead of my left, I get murdered.
Right. Or so maybe like maybe it's only in Loxodon, and they give you a pamphlet. Here are the rules. Welcome. And it's written in Loxodon. You have to figure out how to translate that or ask
understand
people,
it.
Ask people what the rules are, and you see someone getting whipped, and they say, "Oh, he violated Rule 6."
And you're like, "Oh shit! Now I gotta read this book and find out how."
Figure out what these rules are.
I like that.
You like throw your garbage away, and it doesn't go in the garbage, and all of a sudden people start chasing you. Catch that guy! You're like,
shit!
What?
We need to find a wizard.
Yeah, and maybe you have an NPC plot hook that says, you see a guy named Darnold walk in, and Darnold is being arrested for Rule 12, and he gets taken somewhere. It turns out you need to find Darnold and get information out of him. What rule did he break? And now you guys start breaking random rules.
We're meeting Darnold, and during like the very beginning of our interaction, the cops break the door down and drag him out of there.
Darn.
And you ask the cops, he broke rule number whatever. Like, oh shit, where are they taking him? We need him because he has a solution in his head to our answer, a solution to our question.
Yeah, and they're like, well, we keep all the rule breaker eight rule breaker number 8 The rule breakers
Oh,
is
it-
number 8 in the same cell, and you're like, the quickest way to get there is to do that, and it's like
Yeah.
you have to go swimming, in the public water fountain or something like that. With like you can't do that, or like
Something ridiculous.
yeah, you have to walk your I don't know. Yeah, something like that is what this place is going to be like. Very fun, very very weird, very serious.
I'm terrified and excited for some downtime before having to break all the rules.
Yeah, well, we have to figure out what the also your skull too. So random
Well, that's
tangent.
what I want to do.
Yeah, random tangent. We got to figure out how to do the mechanics, what the mechanics are. We've sort of already done it, and what
So I guess
how to make
this
that
whole
fun for everyone too. Not
this whole
everyone's gonna
night
have it.
sort of works well with this because Stag is slowly trying to become a god so it can help kill gods,
Right.
and needs some downtime to do it. And now he's finally there in the Sky Kingdom to take some downtime to become a god.
It's gonna be funny. It's like everyone has to leave the building and look up at the sky at every hour and raise their hands, right? Every
Yeah.
hour, and you're gonna be like trying to shove this thing in your head, and
Like,
prone,
oh shit, hold on.
and prone, and like everyone goes outside, and like they arrest you, and But that's
For
gonna
rule
be
number
fun.
8, and I have to go swim in a fountain.
So that's gonna be interesting. But those powers are gonna wear off. We've said, right? They change every. You have the ability to you have to do roll one or the other, one and a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
It's one roll. There's
On both.
They tie, right?
I don't know. I don't think we've finalized the mechanics on it. We
Yeah.
just know the beginning of the ritual and that there's some things you haven't told me.
Yeah. So I feel like those mechanics I'll iron out for next session. I'll send them to you for approval. Just so based on
We're on the same page.
we're on the same page. I feel like your positive should have a negative that relates to it.
I agree.
So I feel like instead of having 10 and 10, it should just be
It's
one
just-
d10.
It's a 10 and it's the positive with the
Right.
associated negative.
Right.
I like it.
Like, because there's the green skull is
Yeah,
Growth-
for each
growth
each aspect of it, there's the positive and negative, and you should get both on that same
Right.
Aspect.
yeah, growth and
I like that.
growth in life, and there's decay and rot is the opposite to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can control plants, but you also,
You're slowly dying. You take necrotic damage every
Yeah.
hour
for the next day, as until you have to
until you
your
roll
next-
again.
Until you roll again.
Every day you change. I love that. It's gonna. Oh. You've read what I've always wanted is a truly random character. So thank you.
Yeah. So I'll get that, and then we have the red skull, which is gone. So it's in the demon.
It's in hell.
world. The blue skull, which
We don't know where.
the blue skull, what's her name had?
Ignis,
Ignis. They gave it to Ignis.
but it got disappeared from the deck of many things because it's a magical item.
But Ignis had the.
Yeah, Ignis had it and got the card,
So I'm gonna play.
and so it disappeared somewhere. She was going to use one of her wishes to get it back.
I know what to do. But so that's gonna be somewhere in this world again. So you really only have still one skull.
Yep.
We're gonna be getting another one at some point because we're in the sky, maybe.
I hope.
Yeah, and I don't want to have too much time go on. I don't know. How do you think the other players are gonna feel about having? Well, you just have that. It's like if you get cursed. It's like
Well,
if someone gets
I
cursed.
think once, because we've had the skulls and we've been traveling with them and nothing's really changed.
Right.
I think once Stag gets the skull powers, everyone else is going to want to get their skull and get their skull powers too.
Yes.
Because come on, if your buddy like gets some magical thing and you can get it, you just have to go on this little side quest to do it. You're gonna want to say, "Fuck you all, let's go do this." I want those powers too.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's like now we have to go on crusades to kill the believers of Shar, Leviatar, and Talona.
Yeah.
And Talona was the one in the Underdark with the poison and shit. That's supposed to be.
That's the undead
like
one.
Like the mushroom and
the zombie one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Talona was rot, poison. Like she's like you've seen a photo of her. She's just got shit growing all over. So that was the zombie. Then and I know you're probably gonna go for her first, I would imagine, right? But you come back because and then the skeleton was Leviatar, and the wizard is Shar, which is the forever living forever.
Yeah.
Which is, like forever feeling it.
I think the closest is Shar, but the Shar is probably the harder, more dangerous one because of how powerful the wizard is.
Yeah, because if you kill Shar, his curse ends for immortality. But now he's gonna be scared. So he might just be coming. But if the wizard dies, he still turns into.
Well, like my thought would be the curse of that repeater. That cycle doesn't really end until
all three
are the power of all three goes away. But if we reduce Shar's power, then maybe it's not a level 20 wizard.
Right.
Maybe he's only a level 10 wizard or 15 wizard.
He's equal to you -1 or whatever.
Or he's like our level. So it's like in that fight of trying to kill him, maybe we have to try and lower all the levels down to the point where he is able to die because we killed him all three.
Yeah, I like it.
Versions of him.
And if you guys if you guys die, then there's a chance that you guys all start. If you guys all die and everyone starts back at level 3, if there's a chance that when you kill him, he starts at level 3. Yeah. No, that would never.
No. Once he dies, he's died. He's like, this is his whole story arc. Is he needs us to kill him?
Yep, he needs believers to kill him. That's crazy. That's how you world build.
Roll high and subscribe.
That's how we world build. Next week we have our special a special guest.
Our next Let's Talk Lore.
Yes, and for everyone out there who is a D&D influencer, a micro-influencer, someone who likes to play D&D, a content creator is the name I should be saying. If you create maps, I'd love to talk to you about map creating. If you make dice, if you paint models,
Minis.
If you do anything, if you've played the game, if you haven't played the game, if you want to come on the show, come on the show. We're nonprofit. There are no strings attached. We're just talking, having fun. DM us, and we'll.
If you want to see what it was like, check last sessions with Dan. It was a blast.
Yeah, from what was it?
Hilliard Hall Games.
Hilliard Hall Games. Yeah, that was hilarious, dude. Dan's awesome. Fan of the show, he says.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him a shirt. When we're big enough, get him a shirt.
Friend of the, yeah, absolutely.